Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Smash J18. Holy crap, a major bomb just dropped in the video game industry. Bungie, the creator of Destiny, just split up with Activision, who was the parent company, the publisher of the developer of the game, and they had a pretty tumultuous relationship for 8 years. This breakup is going to send gigantic ripples throughout the entire video game industry. For the casual fan of games, they're not going to care too much about this news, but believe me, it is gigantic. Hearing that Bungie broke off all ties with Activision and will be able to helm all Destinies going forward and create their own projects and do whatever they want without worrying about the overbearing presence of Activision looking over their shoulder as they're creating the games throughout the entire process is going to be a major stress relief for everyone over at Bungie. Rumors are they were over there popping champagne bottles and cheering when they found out that they were splitting from their merger of 8 years with Activision and their Activision Blizzard combination that they had there. This is a major conglomerate. Activision Blizzard, one of the biggest companies in all of video games, just split off ties with the creator of Destiny. And people may also know Bungie as the original creators of Halo and Halo 2 and a ton of other fantastic properties. This is something that honestly nobody really saw coming. The shareholders have been pissed off at Activision based off their results of Destiny 2 and how their DLC had been selling, and Activision's been pressuring Bungie quite a bit lately, trying to get more DLC, more expansion packs, trying to squeeze more money out of this game to make their shareholders happy. And from a gamer's perspective, hearing that they broke up because this wasn't working out is music to everybody's ears, because it proves that maybe the direction the video game industry was heading, you know, that whole EA destroying the video game industry at large thing, maybe the tide is starting to turn a little bit. Maybe they're realizing that they just can't continually pump out annualized games, DLC, and expansion packs to squeeze extra money out of players. They were forgetting the reason people played games in the first place. And Destiny's creators, Bungie, is kind of like an artist when it comes to making games. Sure, they've had a lot of shifts in management, and people who were running the games had kind of left during the process, but a lot of that could be attributed to how Activision was pressuring them into doing things to make time schedules that they didn't necessarily want to be making. And because Bungie is now going to be on their own going forward, they are going to have creative freedoms that people only dream about in the video game industry. Now, I know it's early, this news just broke, and it could go a number of different directions. Things that could be possible for Bungie would be that another company buys them out, like Microsoft, and making another Halo game. However, that is probably unlikely because Microsoft's already got 343 studios working on Halo. They already have everything going forward with that. And Bungie would cost a hell of a lot more money now than it would have back in the day when Microsoft had the opportunity to buy them back then. Other options, Nintendo could look into purchasing Bungie. Imagine a game like Metroid being made from Bungie. That would be, wow, that would just be nuts. But again, it's highly unlikely, but I'm just giving some scenarios that could happen with this publisher moving forward. As of right now, with Destiny 2 and what's happening with that, Activision Blizzard said that they are still going to be supporting Destiny 2 on Battle.net. Nothing's going to change, and that will continue going forward until that game dies out. As far as Destiny 3 is concerned, that's more up in the air. This is kind of the drawback to breaking up with Activision. Right now, Bungie's not going to have the major support of one of the biggest companies on the planet pushing their games, so the advertising marketing budget is going to be scaled down quite a bit. It's not going to be like what it used to be, unless Bungie gets bought out by a gigantic company and helps push their games at that point. As of right now, there are a few drawbacks because they're separating with Activision Blizzard, but I feel like the positives far outweigh the negatives in this scenario. The gamers have a true passion for Bungie's games. Bungie is one of the greatest game developers out there when they have the freedom to create the games that they want to make, and without the overbearing presence of Activision Blizzard, Sky's the limit for how good this company can be with their next game, their next unannounced project, whatever direction they want to go. Other things people have been saying as far as what Activision Blizzard was controlling and trying to get Bungie to do, they had an annualized release schedule requiring either a new Destiny or a new expansion pack every single fall. This is not how video games should work. Everybody who's a gamer knows this. You can't just turn it into a machine. You can't just, oh, we need this by this day, and next year we need the same thing by this day. Every time a game starts going in that direction, it starts going downhill, and each year that passes, it picks up speed. Lots of companies, like Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed, have to stop their annualized releases because they realize they are destroying their franchise by oversaturating the market with the name. It makes the other games that come out far less valued, and therefore people don't want to spend full price on the new game that keeps coming out every single year. It's something that Nintendo has been a master at with Mario games and Zelda games, and especially Metroid games. There's a lot of publishers out there that don't do annualized releases, and because of that, it keeps the customers guessing, it keeps the gamers on their toes, and it makes them want to find out when something else is coming out in the future. Video games, on the whole, are an art form, and you can't treat it like a business where it just gets pumped out and churned out. This is something I feel like Activision Blizzard hopefully learned the hard way, because this 8-year marriage that just ended in a divorce with Bungie is proof that it wasn't working for them. Hopefully the rest of the video game industry sees this and takes word of caution not to treat video games like this in the future. Not to try to make as much money as possible out of microtransactions and DLC. Not to try to pump out annualized releases or annualized expansion packs. To actually make the game with the love that you want to. And the reason for making the game is because of your passion for making video games, not your passion for making as much money as possible. I'm wondering if EA is looking at this situation, wondering if this might happen with BioWare or other companies that are mismanaging IPs and getting pissed at poor sales, but I would like to see this happen more in the video game industry. I feel like it's a good thing when these gigantic conglomerates that are mismanaging properties, maybe let them work on their own and, who knows, provide something really powerful and spectacular to the gamers because they don't have the pressures put on them. They don't have to worry about shareholders and increasing money every single year, and they get back to the roots of what video gaming is all about. Now, there are a lot of people that may not think this is a great idea because of those caveats that I've talked about, how they don't have the marketing budget, they don't have the pressure from the big publisher to keep making the games, but I don't look at this like that. I look at this as a 100% positive, net positive for both companies, and honestly, like I said, maybe this is starting to turn the tides on major video game publishers to start breaking up a little bit. Maybe they were getting a little too big for themselves. Sometimes when you get too big in the video game industry, you forget why you made games in the first place. Ultimately, this is a great thing for these companies, and it's even a better thing for gamers everywhere. At least that's how I feel about this situation. But I'd be very interested to hear where you stand on it, especially in a situation like this. I'm pretty sure it could divide a lot of people, especially the hardcore Destiny player community. How you feel about this game being split off of the major publisher? Are you concerned about it in its future? Do you feel like Destiny 2 is just going to be left by the wayside while they start working hard on Destiny 3 going forward? Or are you happy about this as well? Do you feel like it's a good thing and that Destiny's not going to be forgotten about? Destiny 2 is going to be sustainable for the long run. Be very interested to hear what you think about that. And for those of you who don't play Destiny games, what your thoughts are for Bungie in general. What you want to see them do. What kind of games you want to see them make. Or if you want to see them maybe be bought out by a major publisher, which one you'd want to see buy them out, and ultimately what game you'd want to see them be making in the future, an original IP or a sequel to a beloved classic. The sky's the limit, like I said, with what Bungie is able to do with their talent there. It's a very exciting proposition for the future, and I'd love to hear where you guys stand on this entire situation. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
chase.